Okay guys, jumping right in with meal prep. I'm going to be doing some easy baked chicken. You guys know this is my favorite method now, so I do the brining, which you just put in a quarter cup to a half a cup of kosher salt, depending on how much chicken you have. And then you fill up the chicken up with like lukewarm water, let it sit for at least an hour, but I would say 5 to 6 hours is the best, and then you bake it after that. This method is from the Skinny-ish dish, so check out that recipe. And then I'm going to be making some wild rice. I want to have this on hand. I'm doing quite a bit of dinner components also today in meal prep, just so I have some things left for dinner. So I need this wild rice for one of my dinner things this week. I'm going to do like a teriyaki, like cauliflower thing. So I'm going to cook this up. It takes like 45 minutes on the stove to cook up. And then, of course, I have veggies I need to get sliced up. So I'm going to do some air fryer peppers because I'm going to be doing some burrito bowls for dinner this week. I was going to do it for lunches, but I decided I'd rather have it for a dinner. It's just one of my favorite things to have. So I decided for dinner. So I just need some bell peppers, and then also I need some veggies. I'm cutting up some eggplant to have just to throw in salads and whatnot. I really like eggplant, so I just want to roast it up in my air fryer. And then I need zucchini for that teriyaki bowl as well. So I'm going to slice that up. So I have everything ready for dinners this week. It just makes it so much easier, you guys. I just highly recommend anything you can prep for dinner, especially while you are doing any kind of meal prepping. Do whatever you can to help out with dinner, especially if you're like me and you work outside the home and you just need that little bit of extra time that you can spend with your family, or just time you don't feel like, if you're like me, once the end of the day hits, I don't like to do anything. And so even for me, sometimes making dinner just feels like such a chore. And it's really just more because I have to like do things. So if I have this stuff prepped ahead of time, it makes it so much easier. Like this cauliflower, like if I had to cut this up after I got off work, honestly, like there's some days I might not even make dinner. I would just do something else. But to be able to stay on plan for me, just having some of the stuff prepped makes it so much easier. So I have my cauliflower and zucchini for my teriyaki bowls. I have the green onion, cilantro, then my veggies for dipping and dip or hummus. Next up, I'm going to be doing a sheet pan meal. This was actually going to be a dinner last week, but decided to do it as a lunch. So I just going to throw everything on a sheet pan, which is going to make it super easy. But first, we're going to start by cutting up potatoes. So these are some fingerling potatoes. I'm just going to dice them up. Try to do them as evenly as possible so they cook as evenly as possible. Now, I do like to season every layer, as I always say. I'm going to spray this with a little bit of cooking spray. And then I'm going to use some of this Kinder's Buttery Steakhouse seasoning. I love this, especially on eggs. This stuff is amazing on eggs, but it's really good on potatoes too. So I'm going to sprinkle some of that on there, mix it up. The vegetables I'm going to use are this Normandy blend. So it has zucchini and carrots and broccoli and cauliflower. I'm going to put that in the bowl. Then I'm also going to season that as well. Like I get season every layer. Now the sausages I'm using are going to be a little bit spicy, so they don't need any seasoning. But I just like to season the vegetables and the potatoes just to make sure I have enough on here. So this is the sausage I'm using, the Cajun style andouille sausage. But down, this is so good, you guys. It is like one of my favorite sausages ever. So once those are cut up, I'm just going to put them on the sheet pan here. The only thing I need to count for points on this is going to be the sausage, which I'm going to try to make sure each of my meal prep containers have like the same amount of sausages in them. I did count, I cut up about 6 coins per sausage. So this went into a 425-degree oven for 30 minutes, and it came out like this. And I'm just going to go ahead and put them into my containers. Again, I'll just make sure when I'm all done that my containers contain at least about 5 or 6 little rounds for the sausage. That way I know I'm just counting 1 sausage per container, because that way I can make sure I count my points right. I have some strawberries I need to get cut up, so I went ahead and washed them, and then I'm just going to get those all sliced up. I also have some raspberries and blackberries in the refrigerator. I'm just going to leave those as is because they tend to go bad if I cut them up ahead of time. I guess I should say wash them ahead of time. I'm going to be doing some egg white sandwiches this week for breakfast, and so this is my little whoopie pan that I bought from Amazon like 4 years ago. I do have a link for a similar one in the description box because I don't have the same one. So I did put some salt, pepper, red pepper flakes on here. This is just pure egg whites. I'm going to be just doing some breakfast sandwiches with just regular bread. I have some Ezekiel bread I need to use up. some Laughing Cow cheese, some avocado, and then these egg whites. I'll do 2 of these egg whites. These went to the oven at the same time as the sheet pan, so it was at 425, and they only took 8 minutes because it was such a high heat. So now I have plenty of components to use for dinner. So I have my air fryer preppers to throw on with my burrito bowl, the eggplant for salads and whatnot, the wild rice for my teriyaki bowls, and then my egg whites for my breakfast. So all this stuff is ready to go. I can just grab it out of the refrigerator when it's time to need it. No excuse not to stay on track. Next up, I'm going to be making a spicy chickpea with some roasted cauliflower. I've made this before. This is actually a recipe I've made several times before. This is actually a complete 0-point meal for me because it's cauliflower rice. So good, you guys. So I have some onion and garlic in here that I'm just going to saute. I put a little bit of cooking spray in there and just a little bit of water. So I'm just going to saute this up until the onions are nice and soft and that garlic, is nice and cooked and toasty, and you can really smell it. That's when you know garlic is done. You can really smell it being toasted. So now that's done, I have 2 cans of chickpeas that I drained and rinsed. I like to use the canned chickpeas because they already have those little peels taken off of them for the most part. You guys know what I mean with chickpeas. They have these little peel things. Then I'm going to do a can of the diced tomatoes, and then I'm going to do a tablespoon of tomato paste, half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and a teaspoon of cumin. Now you can do less or more red pepper flakes, and some salt and pepper. Red pepper flakes are pretty spicy, so it's up to you whether or not you want to, how much you want to put in there. And then you're just going to let this simmer till it gets a little bit thickened up. So I'm just going to stir this around, bring it to a little bit of a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down, just let it simmer for at least 10-15 minutes, probably longer for me just because I'm going to let it simmer while I'm getting the cauliflower rice all together. So I'm using frozen cauliflower rice that I put in the microwave. I'm just going to season this up just simply with a little bit of Cajun, my own homemade Cajun blend, which you can find that on my DIY spice video. Some cilantro, some lime juice, just very simple, just so it's not plain cauliflower rice. So I'm just going to put all that in there. I figured the Cajun spice would go good because those chickpeas are a little bit spicy. I don't know. I just saw the spice blend in my spice drawer and I decided that sounded good. And then lots of cilantro because you guys know I love lots of cilantro. So I just figured that this would just be better just to have a little bit of flavor to this cauliflower rice than having just plain cauliflower rice. So this is what I always like to do with cauliflower rice. I like to kind of make it, just have a little bit more flavor. Otherwise, it's a little bit bland. So I just put that amongst my containers here. I actually have 4 containers. You can only see 3 on my screen, but this made 4 servings. And then I have some cauliflower. I forgot to show you guys. This was just a bag of rainbow cauliflower. I went ahead and just threw it in my air fryer at 400 for 6 minutes, and then I did put a little bit of the Cajun seasoning on that, and that's all I did with it. Didn't not put any kind of oil or cooking spray or anything like that because it was frozen. I just cooked it from frozen. And then I have my chickpeas here, so I'm just doing a serving of those. Again, these are 0 points, so I'm not really being super careful about weighing them out, but normally I would have weighed the entire thing. So for calories, it'll definitely be, I'll be like kind of guessing a little bit, but this is going to be a really good filling lunch and so good for you. I mean, I should have quite a bit of protein too because of the chickpeas as well. So this will be one of my lunches this week. Have the cauliflower there, the cauliflower rice with the chickpeas. So this is just kind of a nice little meatless meal for the week. Next up, I'm going to cook up some chicken that I'll be using for dinners this week. So one of my meals is going to be a Greek chicken bowl. So I have my homemade Greek seasoning here. Then the other one will be a barbecue chicken bowl. So I'm going to use this no sugar added barbecue sauce. I kind of have this little separation between the two. So the so the juice from the chicken doesn't get into each other because I'm using one barbecue and one Greek seasoning. This is that brined chicken, so this is going in a 425-degree oven. These were pretty thin chicken breasts, so I did 30 minutes, but you want to make sure it's until the chicken, of course, is at the right temperature. So now these are ready to go for dinner this week. So I have so many of my dinner components ready to go. So there you go, guys. That is everything I meal prepped this week. Let me know down in the comment box, what did you meal prep? Check out the description box for all the recipes, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.